This is Martin from MyAirly, and this is AirTalks by MyAirly. Let's prepare the air. And right here with me, with my guest, is Dario Caro. Mr. Dario Caro, PhD
Hi.
from the University of Aarhus, Denmark. Hello.
Hello. Hello. As far as we know now, in this moment, the thing that we can say is that pollution influences coronavirus in terms of lethality. So we can say that from a pathogenic point of view, we can say that pollution acts in the same direction of the virus, which means that people living in a polluted area are more prone to reply in a worse way with this coronavirus. That's because they, going more in a technical way, we can say that people living in a polluted area, they have an inflammation of cytokine, which is the first step to die from coronavirus. So we can say that people living in polluted area has already done this first step. Then we can say that we have a high probability to die. That's the only thing we can say right now. We cannot say anything about the spread of the virus, so how the pollution influences the spread, which is something that is investigated a lot in this moment. But from a scientific point of view, we cannot say anything about that. So we cannot say that pollution increased the spread of the virus. That's something we can't say now. Instead, concerning the lethality, we can find this correlation in terms of pathogenic correlation. So that's what we know right now. Here we need to distinguish between pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. So concerning pollution, when I say pollution, I mean traditional pollutants like particulate matter, NO2, ozone. So when we talk about this kind of pollution, we can say that during the lockdown, we have a huge and immediate, like a fast and huge decrease during the lockdown. That's because, of course, of the lockdown, and because all industries and transport sector is quite set to zero. So if you reset your production system, we can say that pollution decreased immediately, and this is what it happened. Especially I saw, and of course you can realize by looking at the satellite pictures. So you can say that pollution there was before, and there is not anymore right now. Concerning the greenhouse gas emission, instead, you cannot see a decrease from satellite because they last in the air for a long time. So you cannot we can say it's impossible to see a decrease from a satellite picture of greenhouse gas emissions. That's because they last in there for a long time. So it's not 3 months of lockdown or 3 months of lockdown that can make you understand a decrease of greenhouse gas emission. Instead, of course, a decrease of greenhouse gas emission, if you set to zero your production system, is of course also a consequence, but it's not possible to be rebuilt from a satellite that's a big question, but for sure, the first things I can think about it's a shift to a more sustainable transport sector, which is the most important thing probably. So what we have right now is carpool, use public transportation, bike, walk whenever possible, and then depending on the situation, depending where we live, of course. Then another thing is to reduce the impact of our industry sector, and that is possible with of course using renewable energy as much as possible, and that's they are probably the most important things to reduce air quality and greenhouse gas emissions in the atmosphere. But then, of course, we have also other aspects like proper management of waste and reducing the impact of agricultural sector, reduce the impact of our food consumption. So we have several ways. Probably the most important thing now, and it's also probably the easiest to realize, is a more sustainable transport sector in the big city, especially. So this is something we really need to decrease the pollution and greenhouse gas emission right now.
Okay, thank you very much for the interview.